From the inner sense of time comes the ancient poet's rhyme, bringing us the master key to open up the mystery. From the depth of time and space, we arrive in quiet grace, finding what is meant to be as we explore the mystery, pouring forth from days gone by. We can hear the poet sigh from the depth of ecstasy, moving into mystery. Hello and welcome again to Creative Connections. I'm your host, Gary Blanchard, and today I have back my favorite guest, poet, artist, and my wife, Carol Mays. Carol, welcome. So you have, in the last couple of years, put together something that you call the Gypsy Cottage.
Right.
And this is a kind of a dream of yours, isn't it?
It's roughly. I had a lot of experiences that have led up to this, yeah. But this the idea kind of came on me one day, and then everything was created after that. Okay, so we've got a short video that is a tour of the Gypsy Cottage and the things in it. And we're going to watch that video, and then we're going to come back to talking to Carol about it. Hello, I was going to say good afternoon, but it may not be afternoon for you. Anyway, this is my little quote-unquote Gypsy Cottage. It's what I'm calling this little enchanted place. It's on a rural road, and people stop by. I get maybe one visitor every other day, and see what's in here. And it's all inspirational, mostly handmade things, and it's all for free. So it's a little magical experience for people to stop by. There's a little sign outside that says Enchanted Items, and the reason I'm calling them Enchanted is because they're made with love and spirit, and the way I see it, that's what will save the world, is love and spirit. I had a couple of reasons for doing this. Number one, I've had a fantasy ever since I was a little girl about creating a little magical retreat for people, so that's what this tries to be. Originally it was a hunter's blind, and I bought it at a local orchard and transformed it. I hung fabric around and rhinestones and put the little flowers and a lot of other little treasures in here. And the other thing is, as an artist and a writer, it's hard to find your audience. It's hard to find people that can be uplifted by things that you do. So this way the word gets out there, people tell their neighbors, and people stop by. There's really not a lot of things that are expensive in here, so I don't have to worry about some van pulling up in the middle of the night and carting everything off, because really there's nothing in here financially that's worth more than $3, but to me it's just so significant spiritually that it's worth doing. So we'll be taking you on a little tour of what's in here. This is probably the first thing that I made with these little rocks, and they're painted and they have resin on them, so they're waterproof. But there's a lot of other little treasures in here, and we will try to show them to you. So this is the first thing that I think people see when they come in here. It's my sign that says, "Greeting, fellow traveler. Welcome to my little oasis." I'm calling the items in here enchanted because they come with love and spirit will save the world. Rather grandiose, but I believe it. And then it says, if you see something that inspires you, feel free to help yourself to a few of my treasures. And then I've listed all the things that I put in here. And so these are rocks that I do, and we'll be doing a video showing how I make these. Actually, I don't make the rocks. I paint them and make these stars on them. And some of them have, instead of stars, they have moons. Just to remind people of the cosmos. They come in different colors. These are some bookmarks that a friend of mine, Suzanne Delaney, does, and she graciously contributes these to the cottage. This one says, dream. Never lose your sense of wonder. Until you spread your wings, you have no idea how far you'll fly. Then I have wooden cutouts that I buy online, and I attach these photos to them and varnish them. I try to put things in here for children too, like this little girl with a lantern. And then we have little wooden cutouts, owls and unicorns. I've put little rhinestone eyes for them. These are for the kids to paint. Here's more rocks over here. These have hearts on them. Very simple. All these rocks have resin on them, so they're waterproof. And here are some of the books that are in here. This was a joint book that I did again with Suzanne Delaney. Poems of Nature, Enchantment, and Mystery. Here's one that I didn't write as much as compile. There's a lot of different authors in it. The Mysteries of the Mystique of the Sea. Poems, Stories, and Intriguing Facts. I don't know how good the lighting is here. I don't know what you're able to see. And then Haunting Poems and Stories. What I generally do is combine my own work with that of authors in the public domain. So people who have the book not only see my own stuff, but they see classical poetry and stories as well. And here's a collection of uplifting poems. All these things are available on Amazon, by the way, if you're not close enough to come to the cottage to pick it up for free. And here's a DVD that my husband helped me do, Poems of Enchantment. And again, I've taken some classical poetry as well as my own and woven it together with gorgeous images that I got online, and sound effects and music that I composed. And here's a card about where you can find these multimedia presentations. They may be viewed at www.youtube.com/user/idyllic productions. Let's see what else we have in here. We have crepe paper flowers that came from a party store. I didn't make these. So over here we have what I'm calling Gypsy Dream Journals, and there'll be a video also showing how to make these. Different styles. It's just blank paper inside. And before I had the published books in here, I was doing these little poetry, handmade poetry booklets, which anyone can do. It's very simple. poems of enchantment and mystery, and I just stapled these together. And before COVID-19 hit us, or didn't hit us in particular, but hit the world, I had this little book out here where people could write notes, either to me or to future travelers, little inspiring notes. I had to take it away and put hand sanitizer instead. I just brought this out here for the video. And then these are little filigree ornaments that I got online on eBay, I think it was. Very, very inexpensive. And here are some CDs that my husband has created. He's created many CDs. This one is called Magical Whirl, and this one's Journey of Life. There's a postcard in here about where you can find Gary Blanchard's music online and through various devices. Here's a little postcard, meditation haikus. In case somebody doesn't want to pick up a whole book, they can just pick up a postcard. I'll read it for you. We ease into it, the larger life surrounding our self-direction. From birds and crickets and more, we are distracted by things that steal time. Again, we find home in this pulsating life flow within and without. The violin is just for decoration. I don't know if you can see it. It's just for decoration. It doesn't really play. So I put this star map on the ceiling, very simple. It shows how to find the Andromeda Galaxy, which you can see with the naked eye if the sky is dark enough at night. You would go from the Big Dipper to the North Star Polaris, and then Cassiopeia, the constellation, and that's supposed to represent the Andromeda Galaxy, which at some point is going to merge with our own Milky Way. And then I've done a little map that people can take home with them as well, that shows what's on the ceiling.
So, Carol, that was really, it's a beautiful thing to come by as you're going down the road. What is your thinking behind it? What's your inspiration?
Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to create magical, enchanted experiences for people. And I think that arises from a couple of things that happened to me in my childhood. One was when we were living in Jersey City. I was out playing. This is when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I was out playing in the dirt in front of the house, and I found this this beautiful, I'm sure it was like a broken necklace, but to me it was this magical little thing with all these beautiful little beads, and it just meant so much to me to find this treasure out in the dirt in front of the house. And another thing, one time my extended family come up to visit. This is after we had moved to Massachusetts when I was about 10 or 11 years old, and the whole family went out into the woods and roasted hot dogs and marshmallows at midnight. And the fact that it was so late at night, and you could hear all the little insects in the trees, and it was so magical to do it all by moonlight and see the light reflected on the leaves. And these two experiences meant more to me than anything that adults thought was important in my life.
Okay.
I mean, than all the schooling and all the, stuff that they put you through as children. These two magical experiences stand out to me more than anything else. And I wanted so much to create experiences for other people that would bring enchantment to mind, that would take them away from the pragmatism of daily life and the boredom of daily life, show them another world through the imagination, And that's what this Gypsy Cottage is all about. And everything is free. What makes it even more enchanted is that it's all free. So people driving by can just stop, go in there, pick up whatever they like that they see in there that inspires them.
And in the video, we saw a number of things, but you do have some new items in the Gypsy's Cottage
Right.
since that video was made. And one of them are some collages that you're working on. Do you want to tell the audience about the collages that you're doing?
This is a new thing that I just learned about through an online class. I think it was taught by Jessica maybe Chambers. It was just so much fun to do these, and I'm so excited about it just because it's so much fun. I tear up little pieces of paper, I order specialty papers, and create, you can see some of these little magical scenes, a couple of Halloween ones, and other enchanted little houses.
Yes, and they're right here on the table, and I think we can get a close-up of those.
And then, of course, they can be framed, and under the glass, they look really special, really nice. So I'm going to start putting these out in the cottage as well.
And these, the work that goes into them, because you're just taking layers of paper and putting them on top of each other, and some things like the moon or the birds or the pumpkin, they're kind of cut out very precisely. But the houses themselves, you're just basically tearing pieces of paper to shape.
Yeah, like out of catalogs. I think this was originally a shirt. And you just tear them, you like the texture, you like the colors, and it's so much fun just putting them together.
Yeah, on this one in particular, and I'll see if I can hold it up here, the door is sort of like a galaxy. So it's like you're going into the unknown. And what I like is, it's clearly a house, and yet it's also very clearly magical, and it's very much like the experience of going down the road and suddenly seeing this yellow and green structure. For people who are interested in seeing the Gypsy's Cottage, where's it located?
It's right off of Route 9 on Douglas Road. If you're coming down, say from Salem Cross, down towards Ware on Route 9, you would make a left onto Douglas Road, and it's about a quarter mile in from there. It's right in our front yard, across from a beautiful lake. So.
And we've had people share how magical it was to be going down the road and unexpectedly coming across it. I had a photographer on a few weeks back, Angela Cook, who had taken a picture of it, having discovered it in her drive through the area. So it really is that idea of coming across something magical unexpectedly.
Can I share this little card?
Absolutely.
People leave me little notes, and it's, I just love, when I go away, I come back, I check to see if anybody's been in the cottage, because I pretty much know what's in there, so I look to see if anything is missing. That way I can tell if somebody's been in there. Somebody left this little card with this little star, and she says, "My 7-year-old granddaughter made this for you to thank you for the beautiful rock and little wooden unicorn she got in your enchanted little house. Thanks." So things like that just make my day. And as I say, there are many other comments that people have left there.
Yeah. And one of the things that you do there are these painted rocks.
Right. I don't do them there, but yeah, I put them there.
That you have there.
Right.
And they are really nice. you have several types here, and I don't know if we can get the camera on them, but we have some with moons, some with stars, and some with hearts. And then, what's that blue one over there?
This says Imagine on
Okay.
it.
Yeah, so these take a lot of work. How do you get that moon and the star and the heart on there so well?
I had dies custom made that have 4 stars on them and 4 moons on them. And what I do is I use a die cutter, and I put masking tape down on one of the cutting pads, and then I cut out the shapes, and then I pick the tape up off the cutting pad, and it has everything but the star. So I lay it on the rock and then paint. In other words, I use it as a stencil.
It's a stencil. That's
Right.
that's really, I think it's such an amazing technique. And to the idea of using the tape, because it is like a painter's tape, so the paint isn't going to get under it, but it also forms to the shape of the rock,
Right.
because a
Exactly.
harder stencil
Right.
would
Wobble.
wobble.
Right.
Uh,
And then they have a coat of resin on top of them, which makes them waterproof.
yeah, so these can be outdoors.
Right.
And stay outdoors for a good while.
Right.
Also in the cottage, you've got a DVD,
Right.
and tell us about the DVD here.
I took, I think it was 10 of my own poems and 9 classic poems, and set them to music that I also composed, and threw in some wonderful sound effects and fantastic videos, short little videos, strung them all together and arranged them into multimedia presentations of 19 poems. And I should say you helped me. You showed me how to do it, because I never could have done it if you hadn't showed me how. If you sit down and you actually watch them, I think it's very uplifting, very beautiful.
It is very uplifting. The poems are wonderful. The recitation is great, but the music that you composed, it's there, but it's not where you're sitting there snapping your fingers to the music, but it sets this mood.
Right, it sets a mood behind it.
Which is really, I think, a difficult thing to do, and you did well.
Thank you.
And also in there are some of your books.
Right. I put different books in at different times. This is my latest book, Magical, Mystical Poems. This one is appropriate for the season, Halloween, enchantment. What I usually do is, as I mentioned in the video, is I combine my own work with the work of classical poets, works that are in the public domain. So this has things in here by Edgar Allan Poe, Ulalume, and this one is about the ocean, and this has stories little-known stories by Arthur Conan Doyle. Again, I have Edgar Allan Poe in there, a number of poets that write about the sea, John Masefield. This has poems, stories, and facts. And some of the facts are fascinating.
Yeah.
Do I have time to tell you about a
Sure.
couple of them? I spent several months looking up all this stuff online. Amazing things I had no idea, like the immortal jellyfish, and I have the Latin name here, but I don't think I can pronounce it, can revert back to its juvenile state without dying, thereby starting its life all over again, which is amazing. Did you ever hear of a creature that's immortal? I mean,
No, but I've heard of a lot of men getting juvenile in their old age.
and I said, it does this without a brain. Humans who have brains cannot figure out how the creature accomplishes this.
That is amazing.
And then the lion's mane jellyfish is 120 feet long. I mean, can you imagine 120 feet long? A jellyfish lives in Arctic waters. You would think something like that might live in the tropics, but it's Arctic waters.
That's in the section on sea creatures, but I also have sections on mysteries and legends. Some of that stuff is fascinating too. So
And,
whether
yeah.
you like poetry or stories or facts, there you go.
Yeah. And, you know, I know you did an awful lot of research on that. We are running short on time, but would you read a poem for us?
Sure. Let me see. I don't know which one to choose here. What did I pick for the Halloween one? How about Trick or Treating?
Okay.
The sweet sour scent of waning hay drifts to town from nearby fields, pleasing all walkers with an edgy peace. While autumn gusts enliven shadows, the wavering moon turns sheets to ghosts, and disguises reveal diverse fancies. The mind evokes bewitching specters cavorting like bats on their nightly hunts, quickening the pace of parent and child. Spooky music beckons from porches, conjuring up faux frights and terrors as diffuse mysteries tug at innocence. And by the way, this I set to music in this DVD.
Okay.
And if you don't want to come by and get the DVD, you can find it on YouTube. Everything that's on this DVD is also on YouTube at Idyllic Productions. So if you go into YouTube and you do a search for Idyllic Productions, IDYLLIC, you'll see 20 poems in there.
Wonderful. Carol, thank you so much for coming in and sharing about the Gypsy Cottage. And
Thank you.
again, if people want to visit, where is it located?
It's on Douglas Road, right off of Route 9. We're right on the border of West Brookfield and Warren.
And you know, as you go down Douglas Road, you really can't miss it. It really is very, very striking and beautiful. Carol, thanks again for coming in and sharing your vision with us.
Thanks for having me.
And I want to thank you all for tuning in to another edition of Creative Connections, and we'll see you next time. From the inner sense of time comes the ancient poet's rhyme, bringing us the master key to open up the mystery. From the depth of time and space, we arrive in quiet grace, finding what is meant to be as we explore the mystery, pouring forth from days gone by. We can hear the poet sigh from the depth of ecstasy, moving into mystery.